Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here, coach of the Bronx Beartics for my Week 18 preparation video for the UCL. This week we are taking on Christian and the Manchester Magnezones, or Fan Attacks as he is known on YouTube. Now, his team is pretty cool. My team I built with Tony, so big shout out to him, of course. If you guys are new to the UCL or my team building videos, basically I make a team of 6 that can take on any combination of 6 that my opponent wants to bring, no matter what he wants to bring, whether he brings the most obvious ones like Megaladios, Rotom Wash, Pharaoh, Nidoqueen, Mienshao, maybe Meloetta, or if he brings a random SD Armaldo or sub-toxic Dusknoir, things like that. We make sure that our team can deal with them. So again, this week we are playing Christian. Christian has gotten a lot better. I think his draft has a lot to do with that. He definitely drafted better this year. Last year he did not get any wins, but this year he's already 3-3, so he's doing better than a bunch of other people already, and I'm really excited to be able to face him. He has Megaladios. He actually sniped me on that. I did want Megaladios. Also, Meloetta was something I wanted as well. But in any case, without further ado, let's just get into the team. Now, Christian's team has some really interesting choices. Like he could use Sub-Combine Meloetta, he could use Megaladios, he could always use Trick Scarf Megaladios, or Trick Scarf Latios, or Specs Latios, or even Healing Wish support. But again, we made a team, myself and my boy Tony Flagon, that could pretty much deal with any combination of 6 he wanted to bring. So first off, the member that we are bringing this week is Beat Down by Kyurem Black. Now this week we are running a Lumberry set. This allows us to take potential Thunder Waves from Ferrothorn, Will-O-Wisp or Thunder Waves from Rotom Wash, as well as a potential Stun Spore from Whimsicott. Pretty much just gives me that insurance versus them so I don't lose my speed on my beatdown as I play the game. Now, we are running enough speed to outspeed Meloetta, which is pretty much his fastest Pokemon that he has on his team that we can outspeed. After all that, you have Rotom Wash, which you already outspeed, Nidoqueen, which you already naturally outspeed, and then you have Pokemon such as Sneasel, Whimsicott, and Mienshao, which all outspeed us easily. So this is the fastest, smallest team that we can outspeed, which gives us 220 investment. We're running max special attack because Ice Beam is so spammable versus his team. His Ice Beam switch-in is Rotom Wash, which gets destroyed by Earth Power easily. And with a Lumberry, I don't fear Rotom Wash at all. If it wants to Scarf Thunder Wave me, I can smack one Earth Power after that. Now, we are running Roost because we do have again, being Dragon and Ice, we have great natural resistances, so we can eat up hits from Rotom Wash, we can eat up hits, weaker hits from Nidoqueen, and we do knock it out with the Ice Beam if need be. And the last move we're actually running is Dragon Claw, because if I can get rid of his Whimsicott and his Ferrothorn, his Dragon Resist are gone, and Dragon Claw just hits Sneasel for a hell of a lot. It's almost an OHKO, as well as doing a ton of damage to Meloetta, and it's just so spammable as well versus my opponent. Ice Beam and Earth Power are pretty much the only 2 moves I needed. Originally, we also had Hidden Power Fire on our Kyurem Black, but we opted against it because of a few of the mons that you guys will see as we keep going. Now, it was a decision between Hasty or Naive. Because we took out HP Fire, we decided that Hasty was fine, because his physical attackers like Mienshao and Ferrothorn I'm not staying in versus anyway, and I'd rather be able to take hits from Pokemon such as Nidoqueen, from Whimsicott if I need to take a Moonblast, and even a weaker hit from Megaladios, and just deal with them with Dragon Claw or Ice Beam respectively. So basically, I'm not going to be using Kyurem to take physical hits, which is why it doesn't have that. Next up, we have my boy CVB, the Snorlax. We're rocking a really cool set this week with Protect, Body Slam, Ice Punch, and Fire Punch. Now, we are running max attack. This allows us to KO Megaladios as well as just spam Body Slam. Fire Punch is great for being able to deal with the Ferrothorn, while Ice Punch also hits Rhyperior and Nidoqueen for decent damage. Not so much Rhyperior, but we pretty much wanted a moveset that could deal with any member of his squad that he doesn't switch in well, or he doesn't switch into it well at all. He does have the Dusknoir, obviously, but the set just gives us max attack. That way we can do as much damage as possible to Megaladios. We do beat Megaladios 1v1 with Body Slam, Paralysis, and Ice Punch, even if it's like Reflect type Combine Megaladios. We can Toxic that with Aggron if it doesn't Reflect type in time. If it's Refresh, we still beat it down. If it's refreshed, then Aggron beats it anyway. But in any case, Fire Punch just allows us to hit the Ferrothorn as well as the Whimsicott. The Ice Punch does the same thing, and it just hits Sneasel as well for super effective damage. And Protect, you're probably wondering why we have Protect. I mean, it's great for scouting. If Mienshao wants to go for a high jump kick, it's going to be taking 50%. It's going to be hitting itself from missing, and then I could hard switch into either my Tangrowth or my Reuniclus. As you guys do see, we do have those on the team. But we hit 164 as a leftovers number, 256, but 164 HP investment is a leftover number, and the rest is just put into special defense. That way we can better take on Nidoqueen, hits from Rotom if we need to. Though I'm probably not going to use as much for Rotom because I don't want to get burnt by Will-O-Wisp, but it does take hits from Mega Latias, from Whimsicott, from Nidoqueen, as well as Meloetta and Magmortar, which is why we have Thick Fat. Next up, we do have my Mega Aggron PANSA, and PANSA is here for pretty much the designated Stealth Rocker, and the fact that Heavy Slam and Fire Punch hits everything combined with Toxic. The only Pokemon I'm not hitting with Heavy Slam and Fire Punch would be Pokemon like Whimsicott, would be Pokemon like Rotom Wash, and Rotom Wash I can Toxic and wear down. That way my Reuniclus outright beats it. It also just allows Kyurem Black to weaken it or knock it out with the Earth Power after a bit of chip damage. Heavy Slam with 12 attack investment is an easy 2-hit KO on Mega Latias after Stealth Rock, and Toxic just allows us to wear it down. This also allows us to check Meloetta a bit better. And again, Fire Punch is just necessary for Ferrothorn. I don't want to be walled by Ferrothorn. And whenever I'm not Heavy Slamming or Fire Punching, I am Toxicking. We're max special defense. That way we can take on Calm Mind Meloetta. This also allows us to take on Mega Latias with ease, as well as Whimsicott, and even tank a hit from Specs Meloetta if necessary. I'm not going to be using this to be taking hits from Mienshao, definitely not, or Nidoqueen, but we can take one hit if necessary upon Mega Evolution, and if we need to, we will. But again, I'm most likely not going to be using my Mega Aggron to deal with those. I do have designated members to deal with those, but it's just a nice pivot for Mega Lati, and also just takes on Whimsicott and just sets up Stealth Rock pretty reliably versus his team. He has two forms of Hazard Control. It would be Defog on Mega Lati or Rapid Spin on Armaldo, and Aggron just beats both of them, which is why it is the perfect Stealth Rocker in this game. Next up, we have Lucky, my Tangrowth. Now, this week we were running a physically defensive Rocky Helmet set. Giga Drain and Hidden Power Fire hits everything that I needed to hit. Hits Rotom, hits Ferrothorn, hits Whimsicott, does decent amount of damage to Nidoqueen, hits Mienshao, hits Sneasel, does okay damage to Meloetta, but mainly Tangrowth is there because it can check Rhyperior as well as Mienshao. If it's Reckless Mienshao, it also checks Armaldo as well as Dusknoir. This is like Calm Mind Dusknoir, but I do have Toxic for that, and I do also have Leech Seed Recovery. But it mainly just checks Rhyperior, which can definitely be an issue if it's Swords Dance Rhyperior. We're running physically defensive, that way we can take hits from Mienshao, from Reckless, High Jump Kick, Rocky Helmet just to weaken that thing. And we are using Leech Seed because this thing pretty much invites in Mega Lati. That's his best switch into this thing, in my opinion. Or I guess maybe Magmortar. And getting off a Leech Seed on that allows Snorlax or my Mega Aggron to check them that much better. We also have Protect just to scout for High Jump Kick if Mienshao wants to go for it. Another thing I do want to mention is I'm not going to go for Protect right away with Snorlax unless Mienshao is in. So even if it gives me an opportunity to get a bit more leftovers recovery, I'm not going to go for it until Mienshao is in. That way I can hopefully have it hit himself. And we have enough speed to outspeed a potential Rhyperior trying to speed creep a Tangrowth. So if he does want to run a lot of speed on Rhyperior and try and speed creep a Tangrowth, we do have enough speed to outspeed that. At least he just gives me the reliable or the nice recovery for Mega Aggron as well as Snorlax. Again, his switch into this would be his switch into this. Sorry about that. My boy Kenny is making my squad, so he just asked me a question. But his switch into this would be that Mega Lati. I guess potentially Sneasel, but physically defensive Tangrowth also takes on Sneasel as well. Physically defensive Tangrowth can take a hit from Sneasel. So next up, we do have Hard Body, my Reuniclus. I am Hard Body. You are just Reuniclus. Now, this week we're not running the standard physically defensive set that I usually run. We're actually running Calm Nature with enough Spadef. That way we're not 2-hit KO'd by Sludge Wave ever from Modest Life Orb, Sheer Force, Nidoqueen after leftovers recovery. We're never 2-hit KO'd. This allows us to have a switch in with Magikarp. We can switch in on Rotom's Will-O-Wisp, not care about this. Psyshock plus Signal Beam hits everything on his team. Signal Beam hits Sneasel, Mega Latias, as well as Meloetta if it's regular Meloetta. Also, I just want to note that Tangrowth does check the Meloetta Pirouette form as well as Rhyperior, and this can check the special form. I mean, so can Snorlax and Aggron as well. but this can better take on a Combine Meloetta because we do have the bulk, as well as Side Shock. We do still have more defense than Meloetta, so Side Shock and Signal Beam should be able to deal with that. We also tank Hyper Voices. If it's Scarf Meloetta, we're not 2-hit KO'd. And specs we can play around between Snorlax and my Mega Aggron, but this just gives us a nice win condition, something that does not care about Ferrothorn at all, and just has the Psychic Stab that Nidoqueen and Mienshao do not like. This is also my Pokemon that can just 100% take a hit from Mienshao, no matter what. It even eats a knockoff from Sneasel if it needs to. Not that I'm going to let it eat a knockoff, but after a Combine boost, this can set up on a lot. Pokemon like Dusknoir, for example, don't have strong attacks to hit this. Like, his best super effective attack to hit me would be what? Shadow Sneak? Maybe Sucker Punch if he wants to run that. So we could beat that 1v1 unless he's like Curse or something. Curse Mean Look. We take on Magmortar 1v1 as well. I mean, we already have Thick Fat on Snorlax, obviously, so we take that on as well. But this allows us to take on Mienshao while giving us a sort of win condition, something that can go for game if I can have gotten rid of Rhyperior, Sneasel, and some Pokemon are weakened. And couple this with Leechy, with Toxic from Aggron, with potential Body Slam pairs on Mega Lottie, we beat it 1v1. And if it's Scarf Lottie, Aggron beats it anyway. But last but not least, I wanted a Defogger because Toxic Spikes could be annoying. Spikes from Ferrothorn could be annoying, just hazards in general. And I wanted to run Flygon also because if I can get rid of his Ferrothorn and his Whimsicott, he does not have outrage switch-ins at all. We are adamant Scarf Flygon because it outspeeds Scarf Rotom. He's pretty much fastest member, and if he was Scarf Meloetta, I wasn't going to use this for Scarf Meloetta anyway, but this allows us to outspeed Scarf Rotom. Outrage, again, is really spammable once we get rid of Ferrothorn and Whimsicott, which shouldn't be too hard with the members that we do have. I opted for U-Turn, this week over anything else because this does allow us to break a potential sub on Meloetta and just get on out of there, and also forces me, I don't have to lock myself into a Dragon move versus Mega Latias. I can just go for U-Turn, get off the damage, and see what he wants to do, go into Mega Aggron and things like that, and just take him on. Just max speed, max attack, and again defog just to get rid of the Stealth Rock and hazards. This also gives me another natural resistance to Rhyperior, and Earthquake hits pretty hard versus his team as well. So hopefully this week we can come through. The Bronx Beartics are hoping to pick up another win. If you guys enjoyed the video or supporting the Bronx Beartics, feel free of course to leave a like, subscribe, do your thing, and I'll see you guys next time.